Hey, have I missed something somewhere? Is it now a crime to buy a firearm for members of your family? Do not adjust your screen. I am standing here in the dark with my survival flashlight. So if the power grid goes down or just the electricity goes out for a while during that thunderstorm, you have plenty of lumens to light your way. And with multi-flashing modes, including emergency lights, not to mention an emergency hammer and a seatbelt cutter, it's got everything a survival flashlight should have. That was corny. Don't put that in there. It's powered by the sun. It's got a cool little compass. This thing even has a frickin' lighter. And if your battery's low on your cell phone, this baby will charge it up. The link for your survival flashlight is in the description below.
Apparently, in the minds of people, it's wrong to post a picture with your family incredibly empowered. You know this. You know what I think of when this is Thomas Massey's tweet from today. You know what I think of when I think of a picture like this? The first thing I think of is women empowerment. The empowerment of women. You want to empower a woman? You want to help her stand against 350-pound Muay Thai attackers? Put one of these babies in her hand. There's women's empowerment right there. Like it's in your face, right between your eyes. That's women's empowerment. If you don't want to empower a woman like that, you don't really want to empower a woman. Leave her be to get a firearm like that. Leave her be to do her own training. Leave her be to learn self-defense and all these skills where she can tear down the gun, field strip it, oil it, clean it, put it back together, shoot with extreme accuracy. And watch what your neighborhood does. Do you think criminals are interested in the least? If you had 3 or 4 neighbors heavily armed like this, you think they're interested in putting their jobs on the line as they troll their unsafe working environment in that neighborhood, not knowing if they're going to leave that neighborhood in one piece, if at all? No. This is a beautiful picture. And yet it's being vilified and demonized by people who just want to project what happened onto the rest of us. Look what this person right here says. This person's got 77,000 followers. It says Wu-Tang is for the children. I don't know. It says 3 days after a 15-year-old killed 4 classmates in Michigan and the parents were charged with involuntary manslaughter, we have Congressman Massey from Kentucky tweeting this insanity. That right there, unbelievable. There are human beings who breathe the same air as we do, looking at this picture, thinking the exact opposite of what you're thinking. They think this is insanity. And there are criminals going out there. I agree. This is insanity. Come on, guys. We can't have this. Come on, politicians, help us out, the criminals are saying. Make some more laws that empower us and victimize and weaken the people that we want to break into. This is a beautiful thing. This makes my heart go, yes. Those women, if they know how to use that firearm, if they know the characteristics of that thing, if they're good shooters, they are empowered, man. That makes me feel good. I only wish this was, there were several pictures of a white family, black family, Asian family, Hispanic family. If you don't want minorities empowered with whatever weapon they want, then you don't want minorities empowered. You're lying. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to other people. I want black people to be empowered. I want white people and Hispanic people and Asian people to be empowered. If you don't want that, if you want gun control regulations, which is people control regulations, then some of those people you want to control are black people. And if you want to control black people, that sounds like slavery, enslavement to me. That sounds like a master slave situation, an oppressor oppressed situation. If you want guns stolen from the general population, then you want them ripped out of the hands and out of the safes and out of the homes of Hispanic people, just like white people. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. Look at this right here. This Emily Porter, MD, says, And how are the kids who go to school with Representative Massey's kids supposed to know they won't pull an Ethan Crumley on Tuesday? So there's that projection. Whoa, all we're seeing is the Crumley family in this picture.
Let's think about how illogical and preposterous this projection is. What if somebody said, how are the parade goers who march with SUV owners who are black supposed to know that those SUV owners won't pull a Darrell Brooks at the next parade? This is how dangerous an illogical projection can actually be.
You didn't want and don't want the Crumley family to be empowered, and so you certainly don't want the Young family or the Massey family or the Jones family or the Smiths family or the Rodriguez family to be empowered either. This is classic projection. You already see it. It's already preceded in the minds of the masses. This says Massey tweets out just days after a school shooting where the shooter used his Christmas present gun and was caught by a teacher searching for ammo on his phone, beyond tone deaf. What if you, for Christmas, put a big bow on top of a 1978 Corvette and gave it to your 16-and-a-half-year-old kid who just now got his driver's license? And that 16-and-a-half-year-old kid took that candy apple red 1978 hot rod Corvette and drove it through a crowd of protesters and killed 10 of them. And now he's being charged, and then they do a manhunt for the parents for committing the egregious crime of buying a candy apple red 1978 Corvette for their 16-and-a-half-year-old kid. How dare they? Let's go hunt him down. $500,000 bond. And what if 2 days later, another parent put a bow on a 1978 red Corvette and gave it to their 16-and-a-half-year-old kid, completely unrelated to the event that happened before? Well, now the projection has been laid down. The propaganda has been sown in the garden of the masses. Now we're conditioned to go, well, that's evil. Those people are tone deaf. That's insanity. That's what's going on, I believe, with this Crumley case. You got mass propaganda and projection on the rest of us, calling things evil that are neither here nor there. This is that woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. This is that. That's what this is. There's nothing wrong with this picture right here at all. But mainstream media wants you to look at it different. Corporate media wants you to look at it different. Social media wants you to look at it different. Politicians want you to look at it different. They want you to look at this as tone deaf and evil and insane and egregious criminality. Man, we got to drill down into the psyche of what's really going on here. We need to lift the covers and go below, way below the surface. That's what this is. This is mass propaganda. This is nothing more and nothing less than mass propaganda. And one thing we know about the masses from what Gustave Le Bon said, and it's just demonstrable, it's not just because he says it, the masses have never thirsted after truth. They turn aside from evidence that is not to their taste, preferring to deify error if error seduced them. This is seductive to a lot of people who don't have their head screwed on straight, for lack of a better term. Le Bon said, whoever can supply them with illusions is easily their master. It is an illusion for mainstream media or anybody out there to project the Crumleys onto the Massey family and expect, hey, how do we know the Massey family students aren't going to come to school the next day and do the exact same thing? Hey, I got a question for you then. If you're going to ask that question, how do we know the Crumley family is legit? How do we know it wasn't some kind of op? We really don't. We don't know if it is. We don't know if it isn't. Whoever can supply them with illusions is easily their master, and whoever attempts to destroy their illusions is always their victim. Like if you say, guys, the Massey family has nothing at all to do with the Crumley family. The actions of that kid, if everything that mainstream media is saying is above board and it's right on the money, you can't do that. But guess what? You become an enemy, an illusion destroyer when you just try to interject a little bit of reason, a little bit of sanity, a little bit of logic. That is truly insanity that you can't do that. And then you get shut down for misinformation. It's like, I didn't even spread any misinformation. I just asked a question. I just made an observation that propaganda is something that's real. Weapons of mass destruction, guys. Weapons of mass destruction. 4 words led us into a war that we didn't get out of, still aren't out of. Still aren't out of. 2 decades down the road. Holy cow. This is huge. So that's what's going on. That's how propagandized projection works. It vilifies inanimate objects, for example, like the scary black AK-47 or AR-15. It criminalizes those who hold the very gun that the perpetrator or the supposed reported perpetrator was using, so that they can create laws, making these law breakers in the eyes of the state, not in reality, in the eyes of the state, not legitimately, but makes them criminals. And that is the end goal of the narrative. If you disagree, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments section.
Hey guys, we know with the way things have been going, it can get really interesting really quick. So make sure you and your family have a long-term storable food supply. Support the channel and get $50 off with my link in the description while you still can.